All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Greg Cuero, and I am from Direct Line Cruises. I first want to personally thank everyone for joining tonight's webinar. I know how crazy you can get during the holiday season. We're all busy, and I see so many people joining. Thank you so much. I see a lot of familiar names on the webinar, which is great. Hello to everyone. I see a lot of loyal past clients on this webinar. Thank you so much. Um, for anyone that has never had the opportunity to book with Direct Line Cruises, just a little bit about our agency. We're just over about 30 years old. Our agency started in 1995. We're based in Long Island, New York, in Hauppauge, New York, and we are a cruise-only agency. And what does that mean to all of you? We do one thing. We specialize in cruises. That's all we do. We have experts here in our office that are passionate about cruising. That's all we speak. That's what we love, cruises. So tonight, I'm so excited because I get to talk about a passion that we're all passionate about, and that's Viking cruises. So I'm going to hand it off to our expert, Shannon Tiger from Viking Cruises, and she's going to take us on a fabulous tour of the world of Viking tonight. So, Shannon, without further ado, I'm going to hand it off to you.
Oh, thanks, Greg. And thank you so much for inviting me here. We've been a partner for a pretty long time. I personally have 30 years in the industry of travel and many years working here for Viking. And I have to tell you, out of all of my experiences, this was the one brand that I was like, I absolutely love Viking. And so for me, it's my privilege to bring our world to you because I love all of the cruise lines out there. I really do. I have a passion for all of them myself. But this one, it's really special. And I hope by the end of this presentation, you'll all understand what I mean when I say that, because we are so different, right, Greg? I mean, we really are. And so that's the first thing I want to talk to you about. And then I'm going to share with you the world of Viking River, ocean expedition cruising, and a little bit about the Mississippi too, because we always love those closer to home sailing. So I'm going to actually share my screen right now, and we are going to look at the world of Viking. So once again, thank you so much for inviting me. I always like to start with this because not often do we talk a little bit about the why of using a travel advisor. And I think it's really important. As you all know, I work for Viking, right? So it would make sense for me to be talking about our brand. But I also want to talk about the value of a travel advisor. They have the ability, as Greg said, to actually introduce you to so many different brands and really match you to the correct brand for your travel needs and experiences. So, in the case of Viking, it could be very quick for you to be like, oh, wow, that doesn't work for me. And you'll know why in a minute when we get to that slide. Or you may be like, that is exactly perfect for me. That is exactly what I'm looking for. And that's the value of the travel advisor. They can bring all that guidance to you and really give you a bunch of options and help narrow down the best way for you to travel, because God knows we have been saving and we have been working and we have all these bucket list itineraries that we want to go to. And so it's really important, in my opinion, and Greg, I hope you agree with me, to get it right. Because if you don't get it right, and you get there and all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, this isn't what I wanted. There's nothing worse than that. So use your travel advisor at Direct Line Cruising. Not only with Direct Line Cruises do you get the guidance, but you also get time savings and convenience, because it takes a long time for you to become an expert on decades that their advisors have been training on, right? So imagine all the experience they get versus you trying to figure it all out while you're Googling away. Advocacy is one of the biggest reasons, I think, because when Direct Line Cruises calls us and there's an issue, trust me, we're listening. They're one of our top producers in the region, which is terrific. All their advisors know our product inside and out. And moreover, we're listening. So we're going to make sure we get it right for Direct Line Cruises because it's their reputation too. Also, as you'll see, we always have a little holiday present during this season. So you'll get added value amenities, exclusive pricing. So they're always privy to the best prices and offers out there. And then also the ability to really vet all of the travel suppliers they work with. So that's just my quick spiel. Sorry, Greg, to take
No,
some,
thank you,
but
Shannon.
I think it's really important. And I know having gone through certain ups and downs, ebbs and flows of the travel industry, we won't mention any of them, how important it was for a travel advisor to be on the team of the consumer to really help be the advocate for any of the needs. So go Direct Line Cruises. We love you. Anyhow, today I get to talk to you all about the world of Viking. 7 continents, 88 countries, 418 ports, 5 oceans, 18 rivers, 5 Great Lakes. Can you imagine? If you fall in love with the way that we travel and see the world, we're going to be able to take you all over the world. And I think that's one of the largest differences between us and the others is the fact that you will love your river cruise experience with us, but you'll also love your small ship ocean cruise experience with us and the Mississippi as well as the Great Lakes. So imagine that, right? And expedition, having the ability to sail with us to all of these regions. Now, one thing in common this has for all of you, which is small ship cruising. Small ship cruising to me is the true difference between us and a lot of the other ways that we look at cruises, right? When we think of cruises, we think big ships, we think water slides, we think bowling alleys, we think the ship is the actual destination. And with Viking, what makes us so unique is because we're all small ships, we have the ability to take you in the heart of these ports. Imagine no tendering, right? Oh my gosh, no big cruise terminals. You know, on our Viking ocean ships, I'll stress this later, but your ocean ship is 930 passengers. It is literally docked alongside of the yachts, the sailboats, the ferries, the ability to walk on and off into some of these ports on ocean sailings. Of course, we know that's the case with river, but I have to tell you all, traveling in this fashion to me is one thing. These are not cruises. These are floating boutique hotels that give you the ability to go to a port, almost a new port every day, where you're only having to pack and unpack once. And that way of travel is absolutely, to me, priceless because these really, truly are a means of transportation where when you come back on board, you feel like you're coming back to your own living room and you're getting the most best food, great service. And so for my Vikings that are online, if you want to plug into the chat that you agree with me, I really think that that's what sets us apart. We're also food and wine, #1 food and wine, #1 Condé Nast, #1 with Travel and Leisure, all these awards. And we are awarded this because of how dedicated we are to our service on board, the quality of our service. The crew feels like your family and the food. But most importantly, Viking is not everything to everyone. And what I mean by that is we really do cater to mature travelers, people that have a love of history, culture, geography. And if you have sailed on us before and you want to put this into the chat, what will you not find on a Viking cruise? Are you ready, folks? Children. You must be over the age of 18 to sail on any Viking ship, river, ocean expedition. So imagine if you don't have children on board, you don't have water slides, you don't have the kids clubs, you don't have the arcades, you don't have the lines, you don't have the chaos. We really truly offer you such a beautiful destination focused experience. We're in port as long as we can be in port. When you're on board, the onboard enrichment is amazing. So you're learning about all the destinations that you're traveling in. You'll probably have already learned a lot through all the information we tease before you even go. And we bring destination performers on board, and it is just a really terrific experience. We also are a very efficient operator. We own and operate most all of our ships. So just a few that we're not, but most of them all. So that is our crew, that are our ships. So I think that's also something that really I'd like to hear and know about. But having no kids, no casinos, very inclusive product. We don't have photographers on board. We don't do art auctions. We don't charge you for Wi-Fi. We have not a single stateroom on any Viking ship. So imagine, when you think about us and a cruise experience, if you've done the other lines, if you've done the larger ship, I'm hoping where I come full circle for what I said in the beginning, you're saying to yourself, if you haven't experienced this, like, wow, they really are different. We don't do any formal nights. Everything is country club casual. And we really, really do believe that we should include a lot into our product. Also, I wanted you to know that on our ocean ships, we have so many opportunities for you to travel the world. So you can sail on many of them. They all look the same, which is terrific. And they all have laundrettes. We don't charge for those laundrettes. So if you want to entertain taking Viking on a longer journey, I have to tell you, I love that. I don't have to pack 2 suitcases for a 15 or 22-day experience, that I can actually do my laundry on board. Or in most cases, I do make my husband do the laundry when we're traveling. Only then, though. One shore excursion for every single port. So we take you into the port and we tour you. This is not just like a 30-minute tour. This is the cathedral. This is the museums. This is the square. This is a 2.5, 3 hour tour. And you're going to learn so much about that city that you're in. And the beauty of that is that this is through a local tour guide. So they have spent their life there. So you're going to get a lot of personal experiences. You're going to get a lot of enrichment on that tour. And 9 out of 10 times you can stay in port if you want, because the ship is right there. So you can go maybe have a cocktail, maybe go into the museum, maybe pray in the church. You have that extra time if you want to, because these smaller ships, the river ships, and even the ocean ships really afford you the ability to come on and off the ship and be in port. All your meals are included. Wine and beer and soft drinks are included at lunch and dinner. Specialty coffees and tea, bottled water, Wi-Fi, or first class hotels if you're doing pre and post extensions. All the government port charges and government taxes. So when you call Direct Line Cruises after the presentation and they do price something out for you, remember how much is already included in this fare, and we're not going to nickel and dime you at the end of that experience. And that's really important to us. In terms of our river operation, I have to tell you, we are the largest out there, of course, in terms of the small ship cruising experience in ocean luxury as well as in river cruising, which I'm sure is not surprising you on the river cruising front. We are in Europe. We are all over the rivers of Europe. But I wanted to mention, if Egypt isn't on your radar, maybe it's not on your radar for 2025. I'd really like you to start thinking about Egypt for 2026 and 2027. Now, Egypt, our river ships are brand new, except for two, and we're building more and more. The destination is so popular. We fly you into Cairo, and then we transfer you down to Luxor after you spend some time on land in Cairo. And then you go on the Nile River. Total bucket list destination. And we actually have some really good promotions for 2025 if you're interested. But I just wanted to highlight Egypt because I constantly hear such wonderful things about the experience in terms of how it was such a once in a lifetime experience. We also are on the Mekong, so you can go to the Far East with us. You can experience Vietnam and the Mississippi. So lots of reach here on the rivers. For those of you that are joining us and you've never river cruised, I hope the message is very clear tonight. You must do this, and you must do it as soon as possible for a few reasons. One, you need some good stamina when you're on a river cruise, because you're going to be in a new port every day. You're going to be walking, you're going to be exploring it. Now, the beauty of Viking is that we actually have different levels of touring. So if you want to take the easy street and you want to just take the bus into the market, you can do that. You can always do the easy tours. If you want to take the walking tour, you can do that. We do curate it for you, but it's really, really important to be able to have some decent mobility for many reasons while you're on the river cruising. So I do encourage you. This is the best way to travel. My husband and I did it the first time 6 years ago. Maybe it was 7 now. And we were like, wow, why didn't we start doing this sooner? The most popular rivers are the Rhine, the Danube, and you can combine the Rhine and the Danube for the Grand European Tour, which is the map to the right of the screen. But most people do love going on the Rhine, and then they'll add the front, the pre and post extension. So you can spend some time. You could do this right through Viking, 2 nights stay in Amsterdam, take the Rhine River down to Basel, Switzerland, and then do 2 or 3 nights, say in Lake Como, maybe hang out with George Clooney a little bit. I don't know, whatever you fancy. But people love the pre and post extensions. So I really want to highlight them as well today. You build it all together. Direct Line Cruises will do everything for you. All your transfers, you can include all your air, so everything can be done through Viking. You don't have to worry about a thing. It's completely seamless. On the Danube River, I want to point out Prague. So this is the middle map you're looking at. And Prague is about 2.5 hours from Regensburg or Passau. We really encourage, if you decide to go on the Danube River, that you do the Prague extension. Okay, folks? It's a 3-night hotel extension in Prague. Then we'll take you by bus to Regensburg or Passau, wherever you're starting, and then go down to Budapest. If you want to do it at the end, you would start in Budapest, and then you could maybe say do 2 nights in Budapest in a hotel, then start your river cruise, go up to Germany, Regensburg, or Passau, and then transfer you up to Prague. Very, very important. Most of the ship will have been going to Prague, and I really think it's important that you think about that. If you have time, do the entire Grand European tour. You lose the lower part of the Rhine, but you get the Main-Danube Canal, you get Nuremberg, which is fantastic. So you can see where the war crime trials were held, the Zeppelin fields, Bamberg, and then you can do the lower part of the Rhine in another experience, because we have so many different ways that we navigate the rivers. But again, the Rhine and the Danube are the most popular. For wine lovers, you'll get the wine on the Rhine. They love the Riesling wine, the Gruner grape on the Danube. You've got beautiful reds and whites on the Rhine and the Danube. But if you want that true Rhine experience, you're in France. You're now in France, and you're going to be doing the French rivers. Chateau Rivers and Wine, Bordeaux, amazing. Highly recommend it. Most people don't do this for their first river, but if wine's your thing, by all means, this is probably where you should start. I just personally got back from Lyon in Provence doing the Rhone River. This is the south of France, the middle map. I absolutely adored the Rhone. I couldn't believe, I was floored after doing a lot of the other rivers. I was like, wow, I had no idea. It's so great. So I'll touch on some of those ports in a minute, but I have to tell you, Lyon, being a culinary capital of France, really competing with Paris. You'll have such delicious culinary experiences there. You have Roman ruins. You have a beautiful wine experience in the Beaujolais region. Avignon, Palace of the Popes, amazing. And then Portugal. If you want to go, Douro River is a river we sail during the day. The other ones we mostly sail at night, and then we carve out scenic river cruising during the day on those rivers. But for Portugal's River of Gold, the Douro River, this is a terrific way to see Portugal. You start in Lisbon, it's included the hotel, and then you go up to Porto, go round trip Porto. Beautiful wine experience, but moreover, it is so scenic. You go out to Salamanca, Spain. People love it. If you love history, Paris in the heart of Normandy, wow. Round trip Paris, and the ability then to go and experience the Seine River. You'll see some pictures coming up in a minute, but I got to tell you, the highlight, and there's never enough time here, are the Normandy beaches. We spend a full day out of the 8-day cruise, a full day on the Normandy beaches. You actually get to walk on the beach. You go to Omaha, Gold, and Juneau Beach, and you'll actually go to the American Cemetery. So this is chock filled with history, because you've got Paris on the front and back end, where you could do pre and post extensions with Viking. Again, if you do the extensions with us, all the transfers are included. You don't have to worry about a thing. We're greeting you at the airport, but it's really terrific. Capitals of Eastern Europe, for my folks that are online that have already sailed on us or have already done a lot of the rivers, I got to tell you, we introduced this a few years ago. It's 17 days. I know it seems like a little bit long, but for those of you that have done river cruising, you never want to get off the ship. You want to just keep going, right? So you can back me up on that too, my river cruisers. But this is Vienna out to Bucharest, the Black Sea, 17 days doing Eastern Europe on the Danube River. So if you've already done the Danube and the Rhine and you got a little extra time now, I would highly recommend that. And then the elegant Elbe River, a really another terrific river. I happen to love this river, the Elbe River, for Christmas markets, and we'll touch on that in a minute as well. I love all of the French rivers, Chateau, Bordeaux, Paris, Lyon, as we touched on. And another great way to see the lower part of the Rhine is the Paris to the Swiss Alps, a 10-day trip. You'll love that. But on these ports, you'll have ports like Amsterdam. You'll be able to explore these cities by foot. You can do Amsterdam by the canal boats, going to all the different districts. If you go during the month of April, you'll see the tulips. So people love going to the Netherlands during the month of April. On the Rhine, you'll also see cities like Cologne, which is Germany's fourth largest city. It features the Dom, which is the beautiful church right there on the right hand part of this picture. Just imagine though, with the river ships, you're docked right in the heart. You're walking off the ship into these ports. You can come back for lunch and then go back in. You typically will do the included tour in the morning. And I have to tell you, that is priceless. You're not packing and unpacking and packing, unpacking. You're able to go into these new ports every day with that convenience of only having to pack and unpack once, and that ability to explore on your own if you want, or you continue to tour with us all day long. You can do optional tours and purchase those based on history or art or wine or beer or whatever. But you have a little bit of flexibility here on the rivers. And again, remember, no children, no casinos, which I absolutely love that about Viking. Leave that at home, do it another day. Stroudsburg is also a beautiful port on the Rhine River. It's one of my favorites. It's filled with a great culinary experience, but that true, German village, even though it's in France, but like that true feeling of that storybook village is what I'm thinking here with the flower boxes. So easy to navigate. We've got great wine experiences off this tour as well. When you're on the Danube, you will experience ports like Regensburg. Regensburg is a medieval city untouched in the war. So interesting to go through ports that were damaged in the war, but then go to ports that are like walled cities that were damaged. And this one happens to feature the oldest sausage kitchen in Germany, which is on the left-hand side of this medieval bridge, which is on the left of this picture. And you walk through the arches into the city and you can hit up first thing this gorgeous little cute little sausage kitchen and get some great food there. Love that. Passau is another storybook German village. It has a 17,000 pipe organ cathedral, St. Stephen's Cathedral. You can even go out into Salzburg from Passau, so that's really nice if you love the sound of music. But again, another cobblestone streets, just really perusing these streets, going on the history tours, the walking tours, learning all about these beautiful German cities. The region of the Danube that you sailed, the Wachau region. The Wachau region is a beautiful region. It's super scenic. The emerald green rolling hills, again, known for also some winery experiences, which is really quite fun. On the Danube, you'll see the architecture getting a little bit more epic when you start cruising into the eastern part of the Danube, heading towards Budapest. And you'll experience things like the Gottwig Abbey, which is a 900-year-old Benedictine abbey. So the frescoes that are in the palace portion, the summer residence of this abbey, the crypts, the small, beautiful little white cathedral, how it all started. This is just amazing. The monks are still practicing here and worshiping here. So it's quite lovely. You'll also see really epic palaces when you start moving down into the Danube. This is Schönbrunn Palace. It's in Vienna. It's in the outskirts of Vienna. There's also the beautiful Habsburg Palace that's in Vienna with the Spanish riding school. Vienna in itself is just an amazing city. I will tell you, take a note if you're listening. The romantic Danube is one of my favorite Danube itineraries if you're just going to do 8 days and then tack on Prague and Budapest as extensions. Why? Because we overnight in Vienna. An overnight in Vienna gives you a really neat experience because you're really going to want to take this city on. The city itself is fabulous, but then palaces like Schönbrunn Palace, you really want to make sure you're checking those out. You also see the beautiful Parliament in Budapest. Budapest is divided by the Danube River, so there's the Buda side and the Pest side, which is what we're looking at now. The architecture in the eastern part of the Danube River is just phenomenal. It's like I said earlier, epic, easily to navigate all these cities. Really highly recommend you're spending some extra time in them. I'd be remiss during this season to not talk about Christmas markets. So those two rivers that we just highlighted, some of those ports, all of their market squares where everybody back in the olden times were trading. These squares all light up with Christmas stalls, and they try to outdo each other. And you walk through the aisles of these Christmas markets, and you're drinking glühwein, and you're having chestnuts, and you're shopping for your whole family before the holidays. And I got to tell you, bring that extra suitcase with bubble wrap because you're going to need it, because you're going to buy so many things at these Christmas markets. But each village tries to outdo each other, and they're just absolutely stunning daytime and nighttime. The Christmas markets, we love the Rhine and the Danube, but I would also say you can do the Elbe River, and that river features Dresden, and Dresden is the oldest Christmas market, so it's quite iconic. So those are the three rivers that you want to really highlight for Christmas markets: the Rhine, the Danube, or the Elbe. And then we do have a Christmas on the Seine itinerary as well. For the Seine River, you are going to be docked with our brand new ships right outside of the Eiffel Tower. So again, imagine on all of these ports, there's your river ship right there. You can walk right on and off of it. But here on the Seine, you'll literally be taking a selfie of yourself with the Eiffel Tower in the background. So I love our docking position in all of our ports, but really love to highlight it here with the Eiffel Tower and that ability to really, walk along the Seine. Of course, Paris offers you the beautiful Louvre, Musée d'Orsay, Sacré-Cœur. You can go to Paris 4 or 5 times and not see enough of it. So we love the pre and post extensions on Paris and the heart of Normandy, or some of our other itineraries that start in Paris. We also love Giverny, Claude Monet's garden. So if you go when the gardens are in bloom, a really great time to experience where Monet spent most of his life. Rouen is where we actually embark to the beaches, to the Normandy beaches. So we do spend some time. It's a beautiful, quaint little village. You'll see a lot of on the Seine, really reminiscing back to those beautiful paintings that we know and love so much from the Impressionist era. But we do take you to the beaches for a full day. You'll have the opportunity, like I said, to go to the American Cemetery. You'll lay a wreath or you'll get a flower, and you'll be able to put the flower wherever you wish in the cemetery. It's really just quite lovely and so very moving. So highly recommend that itinerary for everyone. It really hits every passion point. Lyon, again, being a capital culinary of the world, it's got such a gorgeous gastronomy program here, plus so much history. I love actually walking around certain sections like the old city of Lyon. It's just absolutely wonderful. Beaujolais, the wine region, hunting for truffles with the truffle farmer. And then you go into ports where you're seeing Roman ruins, amphitheaters. It's really just quite wild. Again, I really love the Rhone River. I love Provence, so highly recommend it if you haven't done this river yet. If you go in June, you'll be able to experience the lavender, which is really terrific. And then Avignon, out of all the cities I've been to, I was really impacted by Avignon. It's very small, in my opinion. It felt very quaint, very, very easy to walk around. You almost feel compelled to just sit at a cafe table like people do in France. They love to do that, and just people watch. You're facing outwards into the crowds. But you do actually get to go into the palace, or, to the Palace of the Popes. You can also even go out to Châteauneuf-du-Pape, which is the wine region that the popes created because they needed wine for mass, right? So there's a great wine region in this area as well. But going into the Palace of the Popes was really quite fascinating. So I highly recommend considering the Rome. So we're moving away from Europe because we have so much to cover, and I really want to make sure I cover the world of Viking for you all and get you excited about checking off all your wish list destinations. It is the time to wish, so maybe you'll buy yourself or send a present along to somebody for the holidays. Mississippi, if you want to stay a little closer to home, you don't want to travel to Europe. I have to tell you, I love our Mississippi ship. It's very different from the others that you would think, right? The others you think, oh, paddle wheeler, very old world, very like, a very Victorian design. For us, it's very modern. You'll see the lower right-hand pictures, an infinity plunge pool instead of a paddle wheeler. Very light and bright. So Vikings really claim to its design is always having the floor to ceiling windows everywhere, always the destination being the focal point. You can see the Mississippi ship is a very good combination of a river and ocean cruising. It's quite large. It's larger than some of the other Mississippi ships, but ships. But what I wanted to tell you is what is really neat about that Mississippi product is that we have the opportunity to tour like we do in Europe. So I think that this is a great difference for Viking on the Mississippi. We do go into port and we spend a lot of time in port with you, with the local tour guides, whether you're in Vicksburg or if you're in Dubuque or wherever. You'll have Hannibal hanging out with Mark Twain. That's where he was born. And so you'll learn about a lot of America's greats on the entire river, whether it's the upper part of the river, St. Paul, to St. Louis, or the lower part, Memphis to New Orleans. Have Direct Line Cruises talk to you about these 12-day itineraries that we've put in play. I love the one that's 2 nights on land in Memphis, then the 7-night river cruise, and then 2 nights in New Orleans, right? So you've got this great 12-day itinerary that's giving you that land in the bigger cities, because of course you want to go to Beale Street, you want to go into the Big Easy and all that stuff. So have them check those itineraries out for you. We have a great Mississippi sale right now. Some of the itineraries are including discounts, some upgrades. So keep an eye out for that. Ocean. I have to tell you, it is really such a phenomenal way to travel. So always love the rivers. I bring my friends and family on ocean. I bring my husband on ocean. I do not bring my children. Ask me why. Because I only have one out of three that's 19. The rest are under 18. So they really can't figure out why I'm working for a cruise line that doesn't allow children on board with water slides. But I have to tell you, everybody I take on a Viking Ocean, or anybody I speak to, always say it's like bar none, so different than any cruise experience. Again, this is your ship coming into ports, coming into the harbors, into the harbor of Stockholm. This beautiful residential design, as you can see here. So always like very private little living room settings. It's actually called the living room. Then all these other fabulous spaces on board. You've got the Explorer's Lounge. You've got the Winter Garden, which is the picture in the upper right-hand corner. You've got multiple dining venues. We don't charge you for the alternative dining. You've got nooks and crannies throughout the entire ship on every little level where you can just kind of have that peace and quiet. The crew will just, you'll walk on board, you'll walk down the steps in the main atrium, and they're preparing your cocktail for you. It is that close and personal of an experience, and I really think that really helps. The different dining venues really make the experience, but I got to tell you, everybody loves the World Cafe. In fact, people will go to the World Cafe for the sushi, the king crab legs, all that stuff, and then they'll go to Manfredi's. So you'll be able to really kind of move around and eat all the different foods. On river ships, we always have our regional cuisine. We source everything regionally, wines, our ingredients. But what's neat about that is we always have a signature dish every evening on the river ships that really focus on the region. Here, we do a lot of that type of stuff where we're in the restaurant, but in the World Cafe, we'll do some really kind of fun barbecues, really reflecting the region and its cuisine. And then we have Chef's Table, which has every third night a new menu. So you can kind of, this is wine pairing and small plate pairing. So you can have like British evening. You can have why am I drawing a blank? Korean barbecue, Mexican, like all these different really fun menus. So if you're going for it with us for a long time, which I really think we're the perfect cruise line to do that, a world cruise, anything over 15 days for sure. You're not going to get bored. Really, anything over 8. In addition, we have a resident historian on board. We have performances that we bring on board, which are absolutely fabulous from the destination. We have classical music floating throughout the venue. We have our crew that does great Broadway shows, ABBA, very on a low scale. Tours Haven, which is like kind of like a speakeasy. So there's a lot to do. We do a really fun dance party at the pool. Usually on a cruise, we have our band, the Viking band. We do Beatles music because Viking Tor Steenhagen loves the Beatles. So we've got a lot going on. But what really makes us special are these itineraries that we have that are all over the world. So we're going to start in Scandinavia and Northern Europe. Now, if you have Iceland on your hit list, this is definitely the way to do it. We have Iceland going from Norway. We have all around Iceland, so round trip Reykjavik. And then we have this itinerary that we launched, Iceland, Greenland, and Canada. So you're going from New York up into Nova Scotia, through the Labrador Sea to Greenland, and then to Iceland. So to me, what a great way to experience that fire and ice, right? Don't just go to Iceland, go to Greenland too. So keep an eye out. Look at all our different itineraries. We have all of the British Isles. We have some of the British Isles going up into Norway. We go in search of the Northern Lights in the winter months, all the way up into the Arctic Circle. we do the British Isles in the summer months, and then going up all the way into the Arctic Circle and experiencing the entire Norwegian coast, which is really quite neat. And you always have that front end and the back port. The Med, we're in the Med all year round. You'll hear me talk about the fact that we have an amazing quiet season Med opportunity for 2025. So if any of you have not planned your Med, your 2025, say, winter or like fall trips, this is a great opportunity for you. I just did Venice to Barcelona, the Mediterranean Odyssey. It's actually 13 days, and it goes all the way from Venice to Barcelona. You go and have Croatia, a touch of Greece. You go through the Strait of Messina. You go to Pompeii, Naples, Rome, Florence, Pisa, Monaco, Monte Carlo. So you can go to the Monte Carlo Casino there and gamble because we're docked, of course, right there in the heart. You're looking up at the Monte Carlo Casino. Marseille, Barcelona. Love the Mediterranean Odyssey. Empires of the Med. If you've already done the Western Med, think about this: Venice, Croatia, Greece, down into Santorini, and then Athens, doing a pre and post in Venice and Athens. Love this opportunity, and it's 10 days. So if you add a couple more pre and posts, it's really terrific. We have Iberian Explorer, which is terrific. So you have the opportunity to do that. That's kind of a neat itinerary, very unique. So perfect for somebody who's already done the Med, already done the Greek Isles. So take a look at that one. Antiquities of the Med, a little longer, 22 days, getting full coverage from Barcelona, the Western Med, a lot of islands in Greece, then going up the Adriatic, experiencing Montenegro. I got to tell you, 22 days on our ocean ships is not a long time. And I would highly recommend this. Remember, we have the launderettes. So I didn't include New Zealand, Australia, Bangkok, Bali, and beyond. We have a lot of itineraries that are tacking on Japan. And if you haven't seen, we're back in China. So we just did our season in China where we have it on the list, on the roster for 2025. If you want to go to China, please think about Viking. It is a wonderful way to see China on our ocean ships, and a really good reason to experience it and know you're doing it for a cruise line that is very experienced in China. Now, last but not least, Vikings, Octantis, and Polaris. These are our expedition ships. You may be ruling them out in your head because you're saying, nope, I'm not going through the Drake Passage. I'm not going to Antarctica. I have no desire to go to Antarctica. Remember, it is the last continent and very cold to walk with the penguins. But I do want to let you know, remember, these ships reposition in the summer to the Great Lakes. And when they're repositioning, they're doing really neat itineraries, one-offs coming up the coast. So if you're on the East Coast, or even if not, take a look at these itineraries because they're really quite amazing. And the ship itself is, I think these two ships are the prettiest ships. They're sister ships. They look the same. I think they're really fascinating, and you're going to see a little bit of that. We love the Antarctica product. This itinerary, why I love it, is because you actually do go through the Drake Passage. So, if you think about fly bridges where you're flying into Antarctica, you got a lot of weather issues that could happen. Now you've got the Drake. It could be rough. Don't worry. We'll make sure you've got some medication on board. But once you get into Antarctica, you are going to be in Antarctic day 4 through 10. So this is not just cruising by Antarctica. You are in Antarctica. You are doing landings. But what makes Viking really unique, and you're going to see in a moment, is our ships. They're really luxury, folks. They're so amazing. So if anybody's been on expedition, please put something in the chat, because it'd be hard pressed for me to find anybody who doesn't love these ships. If you are not feeling adventurous this evening, we can just take you to the Great Lakes. We can sail through the Weldon Canal. I just spoke to someone who did 15 days, all 5 Great Lakes. So they absolutely love that itinerary. But we have a lot of 8-day itineraries. Just keep in mind that we can only take our toys out in the Canadian waters. So I'm going to show you a new itinerary, Great Lakes Treasures. This itinerary knocks my socks off because it's 10 days, 2 countries. Obviously, the US, America, and Canada. But what I like about it is it spends a lot of time up in Georgian Bay, up in the Canadian waters. If you've already done like the whole like Niagara Falls and Toronto, all that, I'd take a look at this itinerary. We've had a lot of interest in it. So definitely tap into Direct Line Cruises for this. Great Lakes Treasures. That's a new itinerary. It's really, really neat. So you can look at that for 2026. We have the ships themselves, absolutely stunning. Fire pits. We do Nordic balconies. So these balconies are really neat. The windows come down and create like a little bit of an open air into your stateroom. So you're not stepping out into it, but you still can create that environment. Retractable roof swimming pools. I did not bring that up on Ocean. On Ocean, we have retractable roof swimming pool. Same here on the expedition ships, and that's perfect. So off-season med, you're still swimming. If you weren't going on the beaches and you weren't swimming in the med, please remember to think about us for off-season med. But for Antarctica, for an expedition ship to have retractable roof swimming pools, the spa, which is what you're looking at in the upper right-hand corner, an amazing auditorium, the aula, which has all of the blinds come down to create theater, and we have beautiful showings of all the landings here. We have resident scientists on board. They are doing actual science. We're launching weather balloons. You will launch a weather balloon on Viking Expeditions. You could go into the labs and work with the science. You could do field work with them. You really embrace, again, that concept of learning. So that enrichment with all of our experience is so important. You have our Zodiacs, you have our kayaks, you have two submersibles, but what makes this so unique are these two 12-seater convertible special operation boats. These roll up into our in-ship hangar and you can board them on there, or you can board them through our platforms, just step in super easy. So again, if you maybe don't want something super rugged and very expedition style, you can curate your expedition through Viking any way you want. You could stay on board the ship, never leave the ship, and have an amazing experience. So check out these two 12-seater SOBs. They come up into the ship where all the toys are. So you'll be in this hangar area, board it like a roller coaster, and then they roll out. But they live in the ship. So really just phenomenal. Words can't say enough. All right. So you are officially educated on the world of Viking. I'm doing okay here, Greg. I did say I was going to try to keep it to like 45, 50 minutes. So the good news is we do have time for questions because we're going to make it an hour now, like I always do. We'd love your questions. Hopefully you have experienced enough in this presentation to really give you that scope of the world of Viking. And I want to say that I would say, I don't know the actual number, but a majority, a high number of Vikings go on river, they go on ocean, they go on Great Lakes, they go on Mississippi. So that ability to travel on all these different products, but still get the Viking philosophy and nothing's changing, I think is why we win all those awards and why I think super, super really special on board. So because you're listening, because of your partnership with Direct Line Cruises and ours, we are offering you an exclusive for $100 per person shipboard credit on all Viking sailings. It's a new reservation only, and you must book it by December 31st, which is perfect because it's time to give yourself a gift of travel or your loved one. So I kind of feel like an infomercial right now. And then the best thing about this is you have that shipboard credit, and then you can actually layer that shipboard credit, which could be used towards gratuities. It could be used towards the beverage package or a spirits package. So you can do a package for like the vodkas, the tonics, the martinis, and all that. Or even for optional shore excursions, right? So that's basically all you'd be paying for in addition, because remember, you always get that one tour for every port included. But we have an amazing holiday sale going on right now with Viking. So many sailings are included for a $500 cruise fare discount, so $250 per person, plus the $100 per person shipboard credit. We also have, which is new, I don't know if some of you Vikings saw this yet, we have a November and December 2025 Christmas market. So very limited itinerary sailings left. So if you want Christmas markets 2025, you have to do it now. And it's the best time to do it because the package includes the Silver Spirits package, which is going up in price. And so right now that comes out to be about $27 per day. So that's a very great value on top of the direct line cruises shipboard credit that really helps out. So that's its own offer. So either the 500 or for Christmas markets, there's an offer for that. We have the Egypt sale right now. We have a Mississippi sale, quiet season med sale, so many offers. So it is a really good time to look into it all. And our deposits are only $25 per person. So you to hold your space and lock in all this programming and the special shipboard credit gives you the opportunity to secure what you want to do for 25 or 26 and even some 2027s open. If you have a Viking booking already, please contact Direct Line Cruises because if you haven't seen it, we have our Book More, Save More program, which is amazing, up to $1,000 in savings plus the shipboard credit. So that's terrific. If you've recently made a booking with Viking, contact Direct Line Cruises, have them look at it. We can always move a booking over to Direct Line Cruises if it was made within the last 60 days. But definitely have them look at it. Like I said, they're a huge partner of ours, and they are very well aware of all of our best offers. So you want that advocacy. You want to work with a travel advisor. It really helps you. Trust me, it really does. So, Greg,
Wow, Shannon,
back to you.
that was fantastic. And thank you. And obviously, my question is when can we all go on a Viking river, ocean, or expedition cruise? Just blown away. In regards to some of the promotions, as you mentioned, Shannon, we are offering a extra $100 per person shipboard credit that just started today, and that is exclusive for anyone that books a new Viking cruise through Direct Line Cruises through December 31st. What I also want to touch on is that's in addition to any other promotions that Direct Line Cruises is currently offering. We have some other onboard credit promotions also available. So whatever you see on our website, it's going to be that additional $200 per person onboard credit. Shannon, if you don't mind, there are some questions in the
Yeah,
chat.
I'm
And
starting to plug away here.
good. And I'll jump right to Mark Powell. First of all, Mark is a longtime client of Direct Line Cruises. And Mark says, I've used DLC, Direct Line Cruises, many times, but have always booked directly with Viking. DLC has always provided great pricing and onboard credits for many cruise lines, but I haven't seen any deals for Viking. Has that changed? And Mark, I can tell you absolutely. What I would recommend, Mark, is calling our office. You can call our office, speak to one of our cruise specialists at 1-800-352-8088. All of the offers that Shannon mentioned, our agency is offering. And then above that, we have the extra onboard credits. The $25 deposit per person deposit that Shannon mentioned, that's just an incredible offer right now, minimal risk. Mark, I also want to mention to you, because you're a past client of Direct Line Cruises, you probably have earned Direct Line Cruises loyalty club points. And those loyalty club points can be redeemed for additional onboard savings on a new cruise booked through Direct Line Cruises. So if you've typically booked directly through Viking and you've already booked a cruise through Viking, we can try to transfer that over to our agency, and we may be able to give you additional perks on top of that. What I would recommend to everyone is go to our website, www.directlinecruises.com. And after you find the Viking itinerary, give our agency a call. It's best to speak with one of our cruise specialists because, as Shannon mentioned, there are so many offers available right now, free and reduced airfare. Our agents can contact Viking, coordinate the air for you into all one package. So it's best go on our website, but then contact our agents. Let the cruise specialists really coordinate the best package for you. Shannon, do you mind if I go through a few additional questions?
No, I don't mind at all. And while you're doing that, I answered a couple regarding the recording and also quiet season med. So typically that is like late October, November, December. We even have New Year's Eve cruises. And again, it's so great because it's not hot. I was 102 degrees while I was in Europe in the summer. And if you're not really planning on swimming and beaching, then do it then because you still get all the sights and you don't have the kids are back in school and the crowds have dissipated. We also have new quiet season river itineraries on the Rhine and the Danube. So if you like to travel in a little bit of cooler weather, post Christmas markets, we are doing things in January and February, which we used to not do. So take a look at that. And last but not least, I think it was Mark who mentioned that situation. So I definitely recommend that. And I will tell you that I work with a lot of the direct line travel advisors. The reality is that they have a plethora of business with Viking. And so they are aware of those special promo codes that we all love and we all want to know about. And so, because of that, they are able to take a look at a booking that maybe you have right now, or take a look at if you book something in the last 60 days, they can easily transfer that over. There's no forms, nothing, and they can manage that booking for you. And again, they're going to do everything through Viking just like you do. The difference is they have access, direct access to me, and also the fact that they have all that experience and knowledge and that awareness of kind of what's going on. And as you know, we launch a new promo every third day, it feels like these days. So having them in the know because you may miss something in your email or maybe you're not getting something, that's really important. So anyhow, I just wanted to kind of share that because I think it's really important. There's really, in my opinion, no reason to not have them take a look at a booking. And you can even call Viking Direct. You can make your booking, just don't deposit it because once you deposit it, it's really hard to add a promo code. So you usually have a 72-hour hold. So call one of their advisors, have them take a look at it. If they need to consult with me, they will. If they have something they need guidance on, but it's really quite a lot of value. So do we cover all of the rest of our questions?
I believe so, Shannon. I'm just looking through to make sure. Patricia, yes, as Shannon mentioned, we are recording this webinar, and what we'll do is follow up with everyone that attended today's webinar. We'll follow up and we'll post that recording, so we'll share that link out to you. It'll also be available on our YouTube channel, so we'll make sure to get that over to you. I believe that is
I
all
think
of the
we just had
questions.
one cruise about Iranian passengers. So basically, we primarily market to North America. Usually, for direct line cruises to book it in most countries, we do need at least one residence, one address in this country. But there's, definitely don't hesitate to call them. We do have passengers from all over, but primarily North America. And so, there may be an opportunity for sure there. I wouldn't rule us out. Again, it's just a terrific way to travel. So we love you all.
And it's Shannon, if I could just say hello to Vincent and Jody also. They've used Direct Line Cruises many years. I know, unfortunately, you weren't able to go on your recent Amazon cruise, but I know you're looking forward to your European cruise in 2025. So please, we're here for you. Reach out to us, and we'll be happy to assist you with your Viking cruise.
My brother-in-law was supposed to be on the December 11th Amazon cruise too. They opted into the refund because they just really wanted and again, that's really nice of Viking to give those opportunities too. When we can, we will do the refund in lieu of a cruise voucher or give you options. And I think that's another great value to Viking. We really, really believe in making sure our customers always come out happy. But yes, Mother Nature decided to dry up the Amazon on us. But anyhow, all right. Well, Greg, I'm sorry. I get so chatty this hour.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time here today. And thank you everyone for attending. And look out for the recording. That's going to be
Yes.
great for you to share with friends and family. And Greg, thank you.
Well, thank you, Shannon. Thank you for providing a wonderful presentation tonight. And thank you again to all of our guests for attending tonight's webinar. And on behalf of Shannon and I, we wish you a very happy holiday season.
Happy holidays,
Happy
everyone.
holidays, everyone.
Hope to see you on board soon. Take advantage of that holiday offer. Bye.
Bye, everyone.